Hello everybody! Welcome back to the broadcast from Space Age XL. Thank you so much for all the support on the first video. It did very well. Thank you so much. Today we're going to continue the the starter base, the quote-unquote starter base for the XL projects. Mostly just rush into robots, but we'll have robots by the end, so that's good. Oh god, look out, train! Oh no! Oh, it's a disaster. Sucks to be that guy. Right, anyway, if you want to do the odd like, comment, subscribe for me, that would be great. And other than that, we'll jump straight into it, shall we? So the base is moderately large currently. It's not very large at all, okay? When I say XL, you know, it's going to be big. This is not particularly big. I found out you can hide the UI. Control Shift F4. Control Shift F4. There we go. It's back. So yeah, I'll probably utilise that a lot. Anyway, so we got irons, copper, bricks. We were just getting ready for military science, but we need to do a few small upgrades, some extra labs. Now that we've got steel, we can finally plug in these assembly machine Mark IIs. So yes, today we're going to do military science, and then we're going to do blue science, and then we're going to do robots. All with the help of the previous broadcast series blueprint book. Link in the description below. This will be very helpful for us going forwards. And I'm glad I spent the time doing this in the previous series, because it's going to make this series go a little bit faster, which is nice. Which is nice. So military science needs stone, bricks, coal, iron. It needs a lot, basically. It needs a lot. So we need to expand the bus, but that's not a problem. We can get that sorted. So let's do some expansion, shall we? Military science has a lot of ingredients, and especially it forces you to expand the bus in a way that you probably haven't yet. So you can get away with not putting any stone or coal on the bus up until this point, and then you're kind of forced to if you want military science to be done, which obviously we do. The coal is just coming from this patch here, prioritised towards the power supply, and then research is finished. And then also then prioritised towards the smelting, and then any coal left can go on the bus, which is fine, the stone bricks and the stone, and then we're just going to take some of the... So using the old rate calculator mod here, we can see that this overproduces walls by about 1 a second, it overproduces ammo by 1 every 3 seconds. And it doesn't really overproduce grenades, but I'm past the point of stockpiling grenades, I think. I don't think it really... It's very good to stockpile grenades... Hello? It's very good to stockpile grenades if you're not using a mod like Blueprint Shotgun that I'm using, because 2 grenades get rid of a bunch of trees, whereas if you've got the Blueprint Shotgun mod, getting rid of trees is pretty trivial, and you also get to keep the wood, which is quite nice. So we'll stockpile the walls and the red ammo. Red ammo is very, very, very good, especially this early. Goes from a simple 5 damage plus 1 physical to 8 damage plus 1.6 physical, which is very, very nice. Plus the compounding bonuses of the projectile damage. So when you research levels of projectile damage, the gun turret damage goes up, and also the ammo damage goes up. So you sort of double dip there on the bonuses. The ammo gets the bonus, and then the turret gets the bonus on top of that. So turrets are naturally stronger than just shooting your gun. But there aren't that many biters around at the moment. And of course, just a reminder, we're on modified rail world settings. Biter expansion is off. Peaceful mode is not, though. They will attack if the pollution cloud gets there. But biter expansion is off, and ore patches are slightly more generous. But other than that, it's all default. Rail world settings, basically. Okay. So while a whole bunch of military things are being done, we need to think about what's next on the list. And what's next on the list is a good question. Oil processing. We are hard stuck behind oil processing. We need to mine some crude oil, and that will unlock that whole shebang. So let's do that. I thought this would be a good time to show off the pump mod, one of my favourite mods. So usually you would have to... This isn't the worst bit. The worst bit is doing like this, and it's never very efficient. You know, doing all the... I usually do like a spine, fishbone design, I guess you would call it, and then just do this, and it's fine. But it is unnecessarily tedious. Whereas with the pump mod, you just select all of the fluid points. It says what pumps are you using, what pipes are you using, what power poles are you using. Very stretches of pipes, very long pipes. Yeah, sure. And it just makes a blueprint for you. Just plops it all down. Vaguely efficiently. And we'll bung a radar in here as well. Oh, you're joking me. You're joking me. Look at that. You love to see it. I'll just put it there instead. Okay. I've already set this up, of course. Crude oil. Oil processing. This is my fluid monitoring blueprint from the previous playthrough. It just reads what's in the tank, outputs that as a generic signal, and then these lights are set to turn on in various colours as the fluid number goes up. This pipe is missing. How irritating. I've done 2 rows of oil processing plants, oil refineries, just because, you know, Excel is the theme of the series, but to be honest with you, it's a bit overkill. Petroleum just goes into plastic and sulfur, which goes... both things are needed to make blue science. You don't really need that much of them. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, so that trigger technology unlocks... hello, there we go. Unlocks flammables, plastics and sulfur, which unlock advanced circuits, and then that unlocks chemical science, and the chemical science gets you everything you need to do robotics, which is of course your early game huge milestone, because then you can just start doing everything remotely and in much larger quantities without it being very slow. So let's continue to progress towards that goal. It's very important. I say very important. It's pretty important when you do military science to put coal on the bus like this, because you also need a lot of coal for this plastic. This is one entire belt of plastic, or just short of a belt, or just over a belt. Can't remember. Just over a belt. 8 chemical plants, and then this uses 9,600 petroleum a minute, which is all of this, basically. Yeah, not even all of this. Even this is not enough. But one belt of plastic is quite a lot in the early game. Quite a lot. And I just, you know, I do it like this just because I like to know that I have it, you know? Then I have it. And with the petroleum backed up like this, if you're overproducing, if you need a lot of plastic suddenly, then sure, fine. It's very important when you put your oil processing down to leave a space for the advanced oil processing bit, which is why I tend to put it in its own section, just so I've always got like some space here. And then petroleum's on the bus as well, because we need to make sulfur and sulfuric acid. There's a few ways you can do this. You can put the sulfur on the bus, which I definitely like to put sulfur on the bus, because sulfur is an ingredient in the raw blue science. You just need the sulfur. It also goes into... I don't know, you don't even have it unlocked yet. It also goes into explosives, which are very helpful because they go into cliff explosives and artillery and things like that that you'll need for your military endeavours. But you also need to make sulfuric acid out of it, and sulfuric acid goes into a lot of important things as well, like batteries and processing units. So what I tend to do, and I don't know why my blueprint doesn't reflect that, but I will maybe fix that, is to do sulfur and the sulfuric acid in the same place. So do something like this. Just hook up the petroleum and then just also make sulfuric acid like this and put that on its own little sort of fluid section of the bus. If you're just rushing robots, it's not as important to do that, but we're going to do it because it goes into batteries, which will go into accumulators, and we're going to stockpile a lot of solar panels and accumulators for our power solution in our grid system. So when we do our grid system, any extra space we can just plonk down solar panels and accumulators. One row of steam is not quite enough for what we've got here. Not quite. It almost is. But until we also research modules, it's not quite. So we will need a second row of boilers, which I have left space for. Let's just quickly drive over here, and I'll show you what my system is with the excess wood. Whoa! So once you've got medium and large power poles, you don't ever need wood ever again. Oh, yeah, good shot. I think I just broke the entire base by doing that. You don't ever need wood ever again. So I like to just put the wood in these chests with a priority inserter to just replace some of the coal and just burn it off. And then once we get logistics robots and stuff sorted out, these will just be logistic storage chests where all of the wood, so from when we clear space, you know, when we put the grid system down and all of these trees go, the robots will just deposit the wood here to just be burnt. Because yeah, wood does absolutely nothing in vanilla Factorio, except for wooden power poles, and the shotgun, I guess. There is a mod called Factorio, which I really like. I haven't actually installed it, but I think in Factorio you can use wood to make wooden flooring, which is kind of cool. But I've not bothered with Factorio this time around. Not quite sure why, but there we go. Okay. Let's continue to move towards blue science, chemical science. So now we have the plastic, we can put in the red circuits, advanced circuits, sulfur and sulfuric acid. So yeah, just sulfur. This uses... This will be about half a belt of sulfur, which is way more than enough. This also uses a lot of petroleum, so again, everything is overscaled, but that's fine. We'll get even more. We'll get more petroleum than that once advanced oil processing unlocks. when we get blue science done. And again, sulfuric acid. This is way overkill for what we're doing. You can see green circuits are suffering from this. We're still on just the basic build for now. Updated these to blue inserters just to speed them up slightly. This is also throughput limited by the fact that I have yet to research bulk inserters for some reason. So researching bulk inserters also gives you access to the inserter capacity bonus research, even at red and green science, which just gives your... Hello? This one. This one! Inserter capacity bonus level 2 gives your basic inserters basically double throughput, increases their hand size from 1 to 2. See, they're just set to 1 at the moment, so you can see this is not quite keeping up. If it bothers you that much, then you can add a second inserter to this. That will certainly fix it in the short term. But then once you research that, these become redundant. What do you mean can't insert fast inserter? I literally just put them down. What are you talking about? How did they leave my inventory but are not able to re-enter my inventory? That's bizarre. Why am I carrying so much garbage? So yes, red circuits, engine units are needed for blue science, and also while we're here I will get some modules done. Modules in the early game are pretty strong. Mostly just the efficiency modules are insanely good in the early game. And I'll demonstrate that to you. So electric miners are more pollution efficient than burner miners. Of course, you should switch to electric miners as soon as you can in the early game. The electricity that they require produces less pollution than the burner miner will create by... Why is this belt the wrong way around? Than a burner miner will create from burning the coal. And then if we throw the efficiency modules into the miners themselves, looks like I've already done some. It does make more sense to start at the end, because these are where your belts are empty. You can see in the power supply the moment that I first inserted the mining drills 7.6 minutes ago, inserted the efficiency modules in. So if you put 3 into one, that reduces the max consumption down to 18 kilowatts. So from 90 to 18 kilowatts. 80% is the limit, they can't be reduced forever. But because your miners are working pretty much solidly, the power that saves is definitely very, very helpful, which then just has a knock-on effect on reducing coal consumption and reducing pollution and so on and so forth. So I highly recommend making a decent amount of efficiency modules, because these will last you a very, very long time as well. There's really no need to upgrade these to level 2s for quite some time, because you can already hit the 80% max consumption limit, which is down here. Oh, the 80% max consumption limit. I missed with my box, but you can roughly see what I'm talking about down there. Even with just the level 1s. So the only reason you would want to upgrade these to level 2s or 3s is so that you could use more slots or something else. But in my experience, putting speed or productivity modules in miners never really, you know, it's fine. If you were playing on like limited resources or something, maybe. But of course the speed modules then increase the power supply, so you kind of, yeah. Okay. So yes, I know we got a lot done here, but as I say, with the help of the blueprint book, plastic, sulfur, advanced circuits, engine units, this was all very easy to slap down, and then with the blueprint shotgun, reducing the need to do all the hand building. We are currently at 4 hours and 54 minutes, which I know is not very fast. I know people can complete the whole game in less than that. But for me, that's quite good, you know? For me, that's quite good. I'll have YouTube on my second monitor. I'll be watching the Northern Line stream highlights, you know? So we're basically there, Green Circuits needs a bit of a boost, but that's fine. I've left space. We'll just double this up and put this... We'll just put this here or something. It'll be fine. Alright, let's go! Yay, blue science. Red circuits is faltering, but that's easily fixed. So now we've got blue science, we basically just queue up everything to take us to robots. Which is advanced oil processing because you need the lubricant, because you need electric engines, and electric engines go into robot frames. So we're only missing 3 steps, really. Advanced oil processing is very complicated. Certainly a big hurdle in terms of getting everything done. Just because of how... It's really your first recipe that has products and byproducts that you need to factor in. And there's lots and lots of different ways to solve it. I'm borderline tempted to make an entire advanced oil processing over-explained video. Just because I also sit on the subreddit a lot of the time. Every day there seems to be another post. Oh, I just got to advanced oil processing and now I'm stuck. And if you didn't know, if you've not been playing Factorio for that long, I was playing Factorio in 0.16, I think, which is still not even that long ago, relatively speaking. But it changed. They changed advanced oil processing from 0.16 to 0.17 to make it easier. This is the easier version of it. It used to be more complicated than this. And they were the developers were finding that people were just stopping playing the game at this point. They were going, alright, it's too complicated. It's gotten too complicated. I'm out. So this is the easier version of it. Crazy. Crazy to think about. Might need to kill some of these biters soon. Maybe. It's fine. Okay. Well, advanced oil processing is basically done. So we need to plug the water in. But then we can change this to be the advanced oil processing recipe. So we have 3 outputs. The important thing to realise with this is that you want the petroleum gas, you want the heavy oil, but the light oil you don't really need so much at this point. You do need some eventually, but mostly you'll just be cracking the light oil down into petroleum gas. So let me put my blueprint down and see if we can't get anything explained. Actually, you know what? No, it's too complicated. Look at this. There's all circuit conditions and all stuff going on. This is how I like to do it. I'm sure you've got your own solution. If advanced oil processing is really... If you'd really rather me make a separate video, please let me know in the comments. I will gladly do that. But I'm not going to waste your time and spend 10 minutes explaining advanced oil processing if, you know, it's old hat to everybody. But this will make the lubricant, this will store some light oil, and this should never clog, in my experience, if my pipes are set up correctly, which I think I realised later that they aren't. I think the light oil needs to come in from here, and I don't realise that. I think it's coming out of this and going into the system, but clearly this pump is the other way around. But so this is irrelevant. I later find out that that is irrelevant. So I don't even know how my own bloody blueprint works. It should be this, and then this. There we go. That will definitely work. Okay, so the robot stuff has been sorted. Robot frames consist of steel plates, which we have, electronic circuits, which we have, electric engine units are very easy to get. Batteries are easy to get because we've already put in the infrastructure. As I say, we need the sulfuric acid. Sulfur into sulfuric acid is not difficult at all. It's just a bit of iron, some water, and the sulfur that you're already making. So that's why it's important to get this done at the time, just so that then you have it. This is also why I like to put engine units on the bus. They go into the blue science, but also you can take them off the bus and turn them into electric engines very easily. So this needs barely 1 engine unit a second, and this makes 1.5. So this is double what we need for this. So we can use the other half to turn into electric engine units, because these go into engine units go into electric engine units at a 1-to-1 ratio anyway. So that's all good. Alright, almost there, folks, almost there. We put the batteries down. So the batteries need the sulfuric acid. So I'm not putting the sulfuric acid on the bus, because this base, as I say, this is our quote-unquote starter base. And you might think that's quite big for a starter base, and you're right. It is. There's nothing really wrong with using this base to carry on, basically, to the end of the game. Just build here, just build the extra stuff that you need here. It's not even that much. It's processing units, low density structures, purple science build, because everything we need is on the bus anyway for purple science. Stone, bricks, red circuits. You probably run into a problem with the amount of red circuits you're using. You would probably need to double this up to make sure you had enough red circuits for everything. But also, let's not forget, in Space Age you don't even need yellow and purple science to leave Nalvis. This is all just in aid of getting a very, very good supply of robots and other things that we will need, like roboports, provider chests, stone bricks, you know, so that we can then start building the main base, This is our 8-hour starter base design. So to that end, while everything is ticking over, I'm just going to start stockpiling solar panels and accumulators, because they're very good. Could probably build more than this, but I didn't want to make it overkill, but it's fine. It's fine. You could also put quality modules in there, just for the sake of it, because every now and then you'll get a higher quality solar panel and accumulator, which are just profit. It's just profit. The higher quality a solar panel, the more electricity it outputs, and the higher quality an accumulator, the more energy it can capacitate. So there's really no reason to not do that. The only reason you wouldn't want to do that is because your blueprint book is all just common, but then you would just walk over and change them. You would just change them yourself. So once you had like 50, you would just take 50 and upgrade them manually. But yeah, red circuits are flagging a little bit. Here's the extra green circuit build. This takes all of your copper, basically. 1.8 yellow belts of copper. Thankfully, copper doesn't go into too much else. It goes into red science at very, very small quantities. Military science a little bit. And then red circuits, of course. But you need the green circuits for the red circuits anyway. So this should all back up now, really. This isn't using 2 belts of copper, because this is now way more green circuits than you need. 16.5 a second, and this needs 6 a second, so it kind of just sorts itself out. Overproduce, basically. Overproduce is always the answer. If you overproduce, things back up, and then once you're short on something, it's obvious what you're short of, because that thing just can't keep up. So what's not keeping up now is red circuits. But again, we've still not researched this bloody inserter capacity bonus, so we're just bottlenecked by this. But sure. Okay, solar panels, accumulators, batteries, electric engine units, and then we can do robot frames. Huzzah! I did clear some biters, just because it wasn't very difficult. As we established previously, turret creep is very strong, red ammo is very strong. You may be asking what this is. This is a biter worm with the expansion off. I mean, the biter worm wouldn't do anything with expansion on anyway, and biter worms don't absorb pollution and send attacks. So I left it there in honor of Michael Hendricks, our favourite Factorio YouTuber. Of course he is. So robot frames are here. Hooray! Who bloody ray? Even this is huge overkill, right? This is 9 robot frames a minute. Like, this is way too many. It's possible I've over-egged this, but you know, whatever. It was XL. The theme of the playthrough is XL. So we got the robots. So next time we can look at how to implement the automatic base. So we need to make some roboports, steel plate, iron gear wheels. I'll make one now. Obviously, I'll do all of this effort to get this far and then not make any robots. Oh, don't do that. Handcrafting green circuits. This lake is very irritating. We'll probably have to go this. Way. Turns out. I am making landfill, but landfill is so expensive now. And the only reason I really did this was not to get the landfill, but to keep the stone belts moving. Because if the stone backs up, then the fresh coal doesn't come through, which you can see is causing not really a problem, but eventually I'll just plug this one in, or this one, probably this one, and just run it over with a belt. I've spoken about this at length before, but this is probably about as far as I would go with a belt. Any further than that, I would make it a train. But that's still quite a long way. But when you're talking about yellow belts, like, yellow belts are so cheap, that is... what, that's probably about 7, 8 of those. So that's about 800 yellow belts, 1600 yellow belts for two lots. 1600 yellow belts is not that expensive, all things considered. 800 recipes of that, 2400 iron. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's what, like 5 minutes worth of this? Not even that. 1 minute's worth of this. 1.5 minutes worth of this producing. Easy. And her inserter capacity bonus finally finished. Not that one, that one. Hooray! Now the copper's getting to the end of the belt. Okay, alright. Robo frames. I've left space in between most of these builds for roboports so that the robots can go anywhere they need to in the base. I won't belabor this point too much because we will talk about it in the next episode, but there we go. Construction robots, where are you going? What, you found a job I've missed. Oh, there's one piece of 2 trees. And this is why I don't install an early construction bot mod, because oh boy, they're slow, and you're going to complain that you don't have anywhere to put it either. You can be like, I've got this, but now I don't have anywhere to put it. There we go, they've worked it out. They've worked it out. Cool. Alright, so we can leverage this power next time for large build projects. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please let me know with a like or a comment. And if you want to see more broadcasts from Factorio, be sure to subscribe or follow the playlist. Thank you for all your support on episode 1. That did many more numbers than I thought it would do. You know, part of me thought it would just sit there on 4 views and I'd be like, oh well. Just me talking to myself in my room again. But no, thank you so much. It really surprised me. It means a lot that these videos are helpful and not boring. And I'm trying to keep them a bit shorter than the previous series as well. I know in the previous series they started off at like 20 minutes and then they ended up being an hour. Because I was just doing far too much in each episode and waffling on for far too long about stuff that everybody probably already knows. So I'm going to try and keep them about half an hour. Alright. Again, thank you so much. Take care. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.